Hi guys, another Geek123 here. So in today's video I'll be going through every comic book film releasing this year. I'll be talking about the release dates, the cast and crew, the plot, and whether I'm looking forward for them or not. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so first on the list it's Birds of Prey. The release date is the 7th of February, which is in 37 days from me writing this script, which was the 1st of January. The director of the film is Kathy Yan, who has worked on other films such as Dead Pigs from 2018 and According to a Mother from 2016, which are quite acclaimed movies, but this will be her first big Hollywood film. Director of photography is Matthew Libatkwi, who has worked on very big named films such as Black Swan and A Star is Born. He also has had experience in comic book films such as Iron Man from 2008 and Venom from 2018. The cast of the film is Margot Robbie returning as Harley Quinn, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, which is the actor of Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim, which is one of my favourite films, and I think she's a phenomenal actor. Sorry, I just had to pause for a minute there, so it was a Scott Pilgrim actress. Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, and many more. The plot revolves around Harley Quinn, who has broken up with the Joker, ending up with heroes such as Black Canary, Huntress, Renee Montoya. They all have to save a little girl from a new crime boss of Gotham City, which is Black Mask. Personally, I'm not looking forward for this movie. This is because, as much as I think Warner Bros. Have turned around DC films in the right direction, from watching promos for this film, I'm getting a Suicide Squad type of vibe. It's very flashy and it does the exact same thing than what the Suicide Squad trailer sort of did, and you know what happened to that film. It was complete dog shit, but hopefully I hope it's not bad, because why would you want a film to be bad? Other than a really big reason. I think Bird of Prey doesn't really have a big reason to be bad in my opinion, but I think I will still probably see it. Next is Bloodshot. The release date is the 28th of February, which is in 58 days from me writing the script. The director of the film is Dave Wilson, who has been a visual effects worker in the past, such as some Star Wars games and Avengers Age of Ultron. This film will be his first directing debut in film, which will be interesting to see. The director of photography is Jacques Jaffarette, who has worked on The Purge and Truth and Dare. The cast of the film is Vin Diesel as Bloodshot, Sam Heughan as Jimmy Dalton, Toby Kebbell as Axe, and many more. The plot revolves around Bloodshot, who recently was murdered with his wife and then resurrected by a team of scientists. He was also enhanced with nanotechnology and became a superhuman. He then starts training with other super soldiers, but cannot remember what happened. But when his memories do come back, he remembers the man who killed him and his wife, and he wants revenge, which makes him discover much more to the story. Honestly, from what I have seen, I think this movie will be good. The story is interesting, the visuals look great in the trailer. The one problem I have is that this film is Dave Wilson's first directing credit, which is a very big deal for a upcoming director. But he has done very good with visuals in the past. And Jaffarette also hasn't had much credit of what I've seen, especially with him working on Truth or Dare, which some people will now sort of know by talking to me, which I fucking hate. I just don't like that movie at all. Next is The New Mutants, which has had a new release date for 10th of April, which hopefully will be in 100 days, even though it was meant to be released on April 13th, 2018. The director of the film is Josh Boone, who has worked on films such as The Fault in Our Stars from 2014, which is very heavily acclaimed. The director of photography is Peter Deming, who has worked on films such as Evil Dead 2, Scream movies from 2 to 4, and many more. Very popular horrors and thrillers indeed. I'm very big fan of Sam Raimi, so that Evil Dead credit is very got me hyped up. And I'm a very big fan of Scream movies. The Scream movies are my favourite horrors, other than probably, I think it was 3 that I'm not a very big fan of, so I'm very hyped up by that. The cast of the films are Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic, Charlie Heaton as Sam Guthrie, Henry Zaga as Sunspot, and many more. The plot revolves around many kids and teen mutants going into a dark secret facility as they were coming to grips with their powers. Honestly, I was so hyped for this movie. It looked brilliant, but from it being put on hold for ages, to finally getting a release date until the rights of Fox going to Disney has been changed very much apparently, and I think it has been more meddled with. Much more of the film could be dated as well, since it's meant to be released in 2 years. It's going to be released 2 years from the original release date. I still have hope for it, but again, I think I quickly went past it. I personally think that this isn't going to be probably Josh Boone's film anymore. I think it's mostly going to be corporate cutting it, because there has been much refilming as well. Next is Black Widow, the first Phase 5 movie for the MCU. The movie has a release date for 1st of May, which is in 121 days. The director is Kate Shortland, who has worked on films such as Law from 2012 and more. The director of photography is Rob Hardy, who has worked on The Gospel and much more. The cast of the film is Scarlett Johansson returning as Black Widow, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, David Harbour as Red Guardian, and many more. The plot revolves around the hero Black Widow revisiting her family from her mysterious origin in the MCU, and she also takes on Taskmaster. I'm personally not sure about this one. I've always wanted a solo film from this character, but I think it's just been a bit too long since the character died as well in Endgame, so I think it might be a cash cow in that way, unless it does actually reveal more about this character and lore as it's sort of advertising. I am very much looking forward for David Harbour as well, since he's one of my favourite actors, but as well, I don't think it will really affect the movie per se, but what have they done to Taskmaster's design? I'll get it if it's a starter thing, but if this is Taskmaster actually being in the MCU the whole time, that suit is utter trash, man. I know he's had many more than the classic one that everyone is sort of wanting, but please, the classic version of him is what we know and what we love. This new version, I don't think I've met anyone that likes this new version, but I'll just forget that for now. Next is Wonder Woman 1984. The movie has a release date for 5th of June, which is 156 days. The director is Patty Jenkins, who also directed the film, directed the first one, and also has worked on Monster from 2003. Director of photography is Matthew Jensen, who has also worked on the first film. He's also worked on the Fantastic Four film from 2015, which, as much as a shit film it is, I think the visuals did an okay job, and he's done much more than that as well. The cast is Gal Gadot returning as Wonder Woman, Chris Pine returning as Steve Trevor, Christian Wiig playing Cheetah, and many more. The plot revolves around Wonder Woman, now in the year 1984, where she takes on Cheetah and also finds the mysterious return of Steve Trevor, who did die in the first film, and that was also the World War. So pretty big time jump as well. I'm looking forward for this one. The trailer did seem sort of okay-ish to me. I had no problems with it, but I just didn't get much hype from it. I was a massive fan of the first film, and other than the final battle, I thought it was great, and it is definitely one of my favourite DCU films. Next is Morbius. The movie has a release date for the 31st of July, which is in 212 days, sorry. The director is Daniel Espiona, who's worked on films such as Life from 2017 and Safe House from 2012. These films are quite good, but again, as big as a Marvel and Sony property like Venom, it's not as big as that. The director of photography is Oliver Wood, who has worked on films such as the Bourne films, Die Hard 2, Scooby-Doo 2, and very much more. The cast is Jared Leto as Morbius, Matt Smith as Loxia Crown, Tyson Gibson as Simon Stroud, and many more. The plot revolves around Michael Morbius, who is a scientist with a rare blood disease, who tries to find a cure, but he accidentally turns himself into a vampire. Honestly, I'm not really looking forward for this film. Morbius is like one of my least favourite Spider-Man villains in the comics, and much as I've said about this film, other than I've not seen much about this film other than it's being filmed. However, I will give Daniel Espona a chance, and I'm a very big fan of Oliver Wood's work. Next is Venom 2. The movie has a release date for the 2nd of October, which is in 275 days. Director is Andy Serkis, who is known to be very popular motion capture actor. He did direct the Netflix film Molgi, Legend of Jungle. Sorry if I butchered the name there. Director of photography is Robert Richardson, who has worked on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and much more. And even the Hugo movie, remembering that. The cast is Tom Hardy returning as Eddie Brock and Venom, Michelle Williams returning as Anne Weying, Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, and many more. I'm looking forward for this film. I thought for a Marvel and Sony film, the first one was really good. Sort of mediocre at best for being a normal film, but again good for what it was. And I think with Andy Serkis and Robert Richardson being put on the project, it could even be more improved. However, if Tom Holland somehow does appear in this film, which I really doubt since I think the new contract was really short notice for it, I think the introduction could be tricky to do in a sequel for Venom. And I think a cameo won't even, and if it's a cameo, I don't really think that'll be enough, and it will just sort of confuse people. Finally, we have The Eternals. This movie is release date for the 6th of November, which is in 311 days. Director is Chloe Zhao, who has worked on films such as The Rider from 2017, which is a good film, but again not as big as the MCU film. Director of photography is Ben Davis, who has worked on many MCU films such as Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Doctor Strange. He has also worked on one of my favourite films ever, Kick-Ass, which I think has amazing comic book type of visuals. The cast is Kit Harington as Black Knight, Richard Madden as Icarus, Angelina Jolie as Fina, and many more. It doesn't have much of a revealed plot yet, and I sort of don't have much knowledge about this team in the comics, but I'm looking forward to see what Chloe Zhao and Ben Davis comes up with this film, since Ben Davis is directed very many of my favourite films. Not directed, has worked somewhat on some of my favourite films. Anyway guys, that was all the comic book films of 2020 which are releasing soon or throughout the year. Personally, I'm looking at the films I'm sort of wanting to see the most is Venom 2. I'm really interested to see how they handle that, and as much as I'm not knowing much about the Eternals, I'm very looking forward to see if the visuals are very improved, since Ben Davis has very much worked on sort of the best visual MCU films and has also worked on Kick-Ass. Bloodshot is also quite an interesting one to me, because I've not really known much about that movie, but of what I've researched for this video, I'm looking forward for it. I think the plot is quite interesting and the visuals of the trailer is very good to me. So you know everything, all my thoughts in these films, and I've told you about some of the cast and crew, the plot. I just want to know now, what do you think about these films? Are you looking forward for comic book films of the 2020s? And if you have a favourite out of them all, please comment down below. I also want to hear your thoughts. And also, if you want to give some feedback to the channel, please do. If you liked the video, please like. If you didn't like the video, please dislike. And I don't mind if you do dislike, because it gives me feedback. If you want to comment down below what you liked about the video, please do, and I'll make sure to do it again in future videos. But if you didn't like something and didn't like much about the video, again, please comment down. It will give me feedback of how to improve for future videos. And honestly, guys, if you have been enjoying the content so far and you still haven't subscribed, I'm not really expecting you to, but please subscribe, because it will show that there's more of an audience to my stuff, and it will honestly just help me improve mentally with future videos. I know it sounds a bit manipulative, but honestly it does really help. Having 100 subs, which isn't a big goal per se on YouTube, but having that is really much thought that I have somewhat of an audience now, and I just want to sort of like talk to you guys more. If you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord. The link's always down below. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Stop! You violated the law. It's been too long since I've seen a good brawl. I'm just warming up, you pathetic worm!